Well, good evening, hockey fans. How y'all doing tonight? We're doing a kind of a semi-live watch along with the Avs, who are still playing, even though it's like 2 a.m. somewhere.
Yeah,
Um,
so ridiculous. You get a Saturday game and you
yeah,
still get it scheduled at 8 p.m.
I know.
Come on. Every game has been 8 or 8:30. It's like,
Yeah.
why? This
Well,
is the one night that they could have done it earlier.
I know I don't get that tonight, but also the same with like the Three Stars games have all been at theoretically 8 p.m.
Yeah,
But the actual puck drop is so late
and that's what
because
I hate about the first round is the Eastern teams are always going to get the early slot because they're on Eastern time zone. So the West gets, put into that later slot either way, regardless of how much it screws us up. And then you have to wait until the games are actually over before your game tips off for the most part, unless they're going to overtime. And then
yeah.
they put it on a different channel and you got to hunt it down. So
So what you're trying to say
crazy.
is we're getting shafted in the West.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I we're not well. Sportsnet Pacific apparently are getting so much shit tonight because people in that were watching the Vegas Jets game, the Knights Jets, and it went to overtime, and they cut away from that to start showing the Leafs Lightning game.
Yeah.
So they're like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Nothing happens at the beginning of a game that's more important than what is ending a game.
It
That's a
just,
little bit crazy.
but hey, the Leafs, they're important. I'm sure Mike would agree. But anyway, good evening to you, sir. How are
Good
you
evening
right
to you.
now?
Well, I was great until that 20 seconds in the second period where the Kraken decided to suddenly score twice. I mean, we were dominating up until that point. I mean, the first 10 minutes, they came out and did what we thought they would do, which is go crazy as the first home game in the playoffs ever for Seattle. So I figured we'd weather the storm. They got one goal. We kind of
Mm.
counted that, they're going to come out hot. But we weathered that storm and then we dominated them up until that 1 22nd period or section, and they scored twice there. So aggravating, but I still think we're fine.
Yeah, I think so. You've got the firepower, and it's not like you're playing badly tonight. It's just 20 seconds of insanity
Yeah,
happened. And Benny has got Matty Benny has got his first playoff goal and all that stuff. So, Smokey's saying that the other day they through the Avs game it switched to women's softball.
I think that was the one that I was at, so I wasn't watching it on TV.
How could you
But
tell the difference though?
right,
Have you seen some of those women in the softball? They're
but
pretty.
yeah, Smokey was DMing me during the game. He was like, "Yeah, they've got softball on right now."
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and if it was beach volleyball, that would be something. But softball, yeah. If well, I mean, it's the intermission right now, as they used
Yeah.
to say intermission. It's whatever they call it now. So if you see Brahma and I going like this, it's
Yes,
because
I'm going to be staring at the TV most
and
of the
I've got a
time
big
while we
screen
do
over
this.
here, so I'll be
I
going.
actually put it on my middle monitor, so I've got the chat off to the left. So if I'm
Yeah.
looking way over here, that's that you guys. Camera game.
Yeah. Well, welcome everybody to Bourbon and Boarding. I think this is 21st
21.
21. We're
It's
now of
now
legal
old enough
drinking
to
age in
drink.
some places. Yeah. So welcome to those watching on YouTube and Rumble, where Brahma's killing it with views and follows. If you're over in Rumble, get in the chat, hit that plus thumbs up button. I've just done it myself. There's 8 so far. That's 8 thumbs up. That's not
Yeah,
bad.
there were I think 4 before we even got going. So
Yeah.
thank you
So
guys.
yeah. And TZ and
And
Smokey are over there in the chat. I think EC might have been as well. And if you're on YouTube, fantastic as well. Hit the thumbs up there, the like or whatever. Share the stream out, everybody. Let's see if we can get some more.
and third period has started.
Yeah. So, but yeah, welcome to everybody. We got Smokey. Good to see you, buddy. The very happy, I'm assuming, Mike DiCarlo. I'm assuming he's very happy.
He should be happy 2 weeks in a row with us. We actually all picked his team to get through, I think, as far as the chat bracket.
Indeed, and they're potentially not letting anybody down with that. So, TZ Burton is here. I don't know how are the Canucks getting on. Oh wait, that's right.
Oh, that was mean.
That was low, TZ. It was so low because let's face it, my team will be joining your team very shortly on summer holidays, I believe. But,
I'm not so sure on that one.
no, after last night's performance, which was the worst performance they've given all season,
Yeah.
it was not one. Well, they scored one goal, but not one high danger chance through the entire game.
Yeah, you guys' problem may be the attrition on players, which we'll get into.
Yeah, Rebel Dragons here. Good to see you. I think they just were scared. They looked scared or lethargic. I don't know, one or the other. But we'll see. I mean, maybe they're just trying to spin it out. The NHL loves 7-game series. More teams.
Yes, they do.
Good evening.
Well, season ticket holders do too, because we sell those tickets to pay for the next season.
That's right. Yes, that's right. Hey, Six, how are you? Good to see you. We should get Six on here. I bet you Six knows a lot about hockey.
Anytime she wants.
Anytime she wants. Anyway, we're just bourbon and boarding. So, what are you drinking tonight, sir?
I am pulling out another Buffalo Trace product, Sazerac Rye. Their straight rye whiskey. It is 45% by volume, 90 proof. It's actually probably my favorite rye.
Sazerac, a drink they like in New Orleans, or Nolans as they call it.
Not sure. It's named after the one of the original founders. His last name was Sazerac, I believe. So it's just named after a person.
Yeah, indeed. I think it's quite popular in the Nolans area.
Yeah. It probably makes a very good mixer.
It's used as a mixer in some particular drink down there that I can't recall because I don't really drink mixer things, cocktails.
Yeah. Old fashions are best with ryes, I think. I mean, Old Forester rye is great in an old fashioned, and Sazerac's good, but I don't like wasting the Sazerac. Their goal, Avalanche, 4-3.
Yeah, I had a feeling that would happen. There's just too much firepower there. Was it Rantanen? Yeah, it was Rantanen. Yeah.
Yep. So all the big boys are scoring tonight. McCarr, McKinnon, Rantanen, and Comfort got that shorthanded. That was beautiful.
Comfort's was a really cute goal, actually. He took that well. Little...
Especially shorthanded. I mean, that was awesome. That's his second shorthanded goal in playoff in his playoff runs. So he's very good on the penalty kill. He's always thinking offense on the penalty kill, and that's nice.
Yeah, I noticed the first Kraken goal was scored by former Dallas Stars player Jamie Oleksiak. 6'7" of him, the big rig as they called him.
He's that big?
He is. He's a huge unit. Don't recall him scoring a lot of goals. So.
Well, he got one when it counted in the playoffs.
Did the Kraken start playing before the Avs came out? Was that why?
I think tonight it was just they were so excited being in their home place for the first time in a playoff game. I mean, the crowd was loud. They were trying to interview Bednar, and Bednar was having to bend all the way over right next to the interviewer just to hear what they were asking. So the decibel level in there is high tonight.
Yeah. Have you been watching with the national broadcasts when you've watched? Well, I mean, tonight's the only one you've watched on TV, is it?
No, I watched Game 2.
You watched Game 2. So
we sold off Game 2, and I typically go to one game for the first 3 rounds, and then whatever in the playoff in the finals, I'm going to any game I can. But it's especially with these late games, it gets kind of to be a pain in the butt to go up to the games, so especially when you get a stinker like that first game. So
you got a hell of a distance. Yeah, you got fair.
Well, it's an hour there, so I'm basically leaving at like 5:30, 6 o'clock, getting up to Denver, having a quick bite to eat, then tailgating for a little bit. Then the game starts at Tuesday night it started at like 8:30, 8:40 instead of there's a goal. Now we're piling it on McKinnon. So by the time the game is ending, I'm getting home at 1 o'clock. So, I mean, it's a time commitment to go up to the games when you live an hour away.
It was different for me when I was a Stars season to get older because I could walk to the games. So I went to as many as I could. I didn't sell the tickets or anything, but that was because I could just walk to them. If you've got to go an hour there and back, yeah, I get it. Darth, welcome, Darth. He's on to the beer tonight. The reason I don't talk about the NBA playoffs is this is a hockey show.
I hate the NBA.
and I can't stand basketball. To me, it's the most boring game on earth. Sorry, Darth. It's like, why don't they just play the last 30 seconds? I mean, any game that finishes 110, 108 is... Why don't you just play the last 30 seconds? That would get you the proper
Well, and the last 30 seconds can take 20 minutes.
Yeah, so anyway, sorry, Darth. I'm not. It's a hockey show, so I'm really not going to. I know. I mean, other than the fact that back in the 70s, I did see the Harlem Globetrotters, the original guys, Curly and all those guys, live in a little town near me in Scotland. Other than that, I have nothing. I know nothing about basketball, other than what your average normie would know, which is the names of certain famous players. That's it.
Yeah,
and I hated playing it because I'm 5'7". So
I played it in high school, but I mean,
yeah,
I just don't. I like college basketball to a degree. The NBA, I just can't stand it. I mean, it's superstar and 4 other guys running around for the most part. And this year, I think Denver is the overall number 1. If I've heard right, I literally watch it so little that I don't know even where they're ranking, but I know Denver is good.
Yeah, I just used to represent the Mavericks in Dallas because they would use our arena.
Yeah,
I regard it as our
we
arena.
share too.
So they were a pain in the ass. Six says worse than curling. Curling's actually good.
I like curling.
It's good fun to play, and the girls, the women's curling, those are not unattractive girls.
No, it's usually pretty attractive women doing the curling. I like watching curling in the Olympics. That's about the only time I watch it. But
and it's great to play if you've ever played it. Good fun. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And it's the kind of skating I can do, 3 feet that way.
With a broom.
With a broom, yes. Dust my broom, as the old blues players used to say. Yeah, so 5-3 right now. That looks like that's probably game over in that game, I would think. So
better be.
So just tonight, we'll take a look back at most every night, but briefly. But so I've 5-3 up. The Knights squeaked an overtime win against the Jets in Winnipeg, and they're leading that series 2-1, which is pretty. Most of them are 2-1.
Every series will be 2-1 after the Avs are done.
Yeah. The Leafs, now Mike is going to definitely have something to say about this. I'm sure the Leafs, again, overtime win against the Lightning, and we've got a fight to show from that game later.
Yeah.
I think it was from this tonight, wasn't it?
I believe that one was from tonight. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the Devils, who I'd picked to win this series, but were getting smashed at home, managed to win tonight at MSG. So Rangers are 2-1 up. So, but yeah, the Avs are piling it on now. I just looks like, I know you said the first game they weren't great.
The first 4 periods of the playoffs were the worst I have seen the Avs play in 5 years.
Yeah.
The first game was horrible. I was at it. It was the most low energy, horrible game I have been to. And then the first period of the second game started off just absolutely atrocious. Probably the worst period I have ever seen them play. And then we've been pretty much dominant ever since. So
yeah, I mean that was
we've taken what they're gonna give us. I mean, they were excited to be in the playoffs first time their team has ever been in the playoffs, and I think that gives them a little bit of an adrenaline punch, and we were just low energy coming out, and they took advantage of it. But I don't think they've got it in the long run.
I think you were just toying with your food.
Yeah, a little bit. But it's pretty scary looking at the way we've been playing through some of those games and looking at teams that we might be playing down the road. You can't have those games against teams that aren't, the Kraken.
Yeah, I mean, I really wish we'd been able to play them because this Wild thing's turning out to be a real shit show. I don't think there'll be any players left by the end of the series. They'll all be banned.
There's a few series like that, and then like the Avs series, there's hardly anything going on. I mean, no real shenanigans happening at all. It doesn't even really feel like
Hockey
playoff games for the most part. And then I'm watching all these other series, and people are getting ejected left and right. There's fighting after every single whistle, and it's like, where's the energy from us? But at the same time, why put out that energy if you don't have to yet?
No, nobody does it unless they have to.
Yeah. But there's been some rough hockey in the playoffs so far.
Yeah, and we're gonna talk about that a little bit. Naturally, I'm a homer, so I'm going to talk about one particular incident. But there's been the usual decisions made, decisions not made, calls not made. People scratching their heads over things that were called that were nothing. Other people getting brutally murdered and there's no call. It's
games ending on a non-call with an official review that ends a game. That one was pretty bad. Last night, is that who it was? Yeah, it was the Oilers. Yeah,
we've got a little clip of that as well. It's as usual. Certainly in the first round, the officiating is creating a lot of the headlines as opposed to the games.
Yeah. Whether they're letting things go too much or just getting calls wrong altogether.
So Teasy Burns says Colorado, the Seattle is the weed series. Possibly. It's laid back.
Yeah. I mean, it's speedy. There's just not a lot of hitting. I mean, both teams play at a very high-paced speed.
It's kind of nice to see that. I mean, everyone likes a bit of rough and tumble, but that's nice to see just hockey being played,
Yeah, when you're going 6 or 7 minutes between whistles, sometimes that makes it a more fun flow to the game.
Since you guys are, we're not going to get political sites, but since you guys are my sports nerds, are there a lot of trans men taking over men's sports? Would that be now?
Oh yeah, they're coming in and dominating.
Could you describe what you mean by trans men sex? Because I'm not sure we know the official definition. Is that a person that used to be a woman that identifies as a man, or is it a woman who's now a man?
Yeah, I think she's talking about women going to men.
So we're not.
It happens so often in the men's sports.
We're not seeing a lot of that. However, what I can say is that if you've ever seen women hockey players or women rugby players, I wouldn't want to upset them.
True. Yep.
So it's. Is that another goal?
Probably no. They're on a power play right now, but nothing's happening.
Yeah.
Probably the only sport I think that we'll see that end up happening is figure skating,
which is pretty much a wash anyway. I mean,
and maybe women's gymnastics,
rhythm
or men's gymnastics.
So the rhythmic gymnastics, particularly, which is really just dancing with tapes, and ribbons. Equestrian sports is one area where there is equality, I think, because. They adjust.
Equestrian, but not like polo.
No,
probably still no advantage there.
Polo, as an expert on polo. Yeah, the lady hockey players in Letterkenny are not ladies, no, and they're certainly not someone that I would certainly pay for dinner if I was on a date with them. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway,
they're a little bit rough.
Yeah. So while we're keeping an eye on the Avs game, which
going to commercial, I think.
Is it? Yeah. I did want to. We'll get into this. We have some clips. We have lots of clips. I did want to talk about, from me, Game 1, Stars Wild. I know that a lot of people.
Yes, I'll let you
disagree.
take the pulpit for a
I
few
know a
minutes
lot
while
of
I
people.
watch.
So here's an example. First of all, the Stripes lost that game completely. They lost control of that game, big style. But Dumba, who's not necessarily known for his skillful play, if I could be tactful in that respect, the Wild set out their stall from the beginning of the series. Grit was their thing, and they were going to hit hard and go for the body and basically try and grind potentially the more skillful team down, which is Stars.
Well, they're definitely the more skillful
The
team.
Wild, the Wild have got skillful players too, but not as many and not as effective. I don't think so.
And not as veteran.
Yeah, so there was a scary, scary incident, and it's an example because there's been other examples in the playoffs where things were called or not called, or a scary incident with Dumba hitting Pavelski.
Pavelski in the left wing corner, backhands one off the outside of the net and goes flying. He gets blown up.
Now, that's one thing that happens, and I want you to note another thing that happens here, which is Domi goes in to fight Dumba, and then totally illegally, Krapazov jumps in as the third man.
Right.
Which is an offence. I mean, that's in the rule book. It's an infraction. So what was really scary about this was that Joe was down and out for a while and then absolutely had to be helped off.
Yeah, he was unconscious.
He was unconscious and then
he has a history of it too.
And he has a history. And I'm not... So you cannot determine intent, but there's no way the Wild and Dumba did not know that he has a history with that. So even if he hadn't hurt him, that would have, they're trying to frighten him. And knowing his history with concussions, etc. So hey, Kremlin, good to see it. So that's one view of it. So what happened on the day? Well, actually, no. I'll give you. So from my point of view, and at the point of view of most people at the time was it was a late hit. It was he looked like he'd hit the head. And Joe Pavelski was screened by Hartman and could not see it coming. So there's three things there. And it was called, at the time, the Zebras called it 5-minute major and a game misconduct. On review, they reversed that and gave 2 minutes for roughing to Dumba.
Yep.
10 minutes to Domi for fighting and nothing to Kaprizov for being the third man in a fight that wasn't his concern, jumping on somebody's back.
Yeah, the only thing I can think on that one, and I'd have to see it again, was the ref already on top of them trying to break it up, and he was just trying to help break it up?
Maybe.
Because I think the ref is already holding the guy, trying to get him off.
So there's Kaprizov jumping in there. So you'll see Domi goes into Dumba, and he was pounding the shit out of him. Dumba would have got murdered if that. But there's Kaprizov jumping in, trying to get to Domi, right there.
Right. I think the only thing you can say on that one, as a non-homer, is nobody actually dropped the gloves. That was still scrumming, and the ref was trying to separate it. And I think Kaprizov saw that the ref was not able to keep control of that. If the gloves had been dropped, I would agree with you 100%.
So the effect, and I'm kind of jumping ahead, the effect of the refs after review deciding to downgrade Domi to 10 minutes for roughing. How you can downgrade someone to 10 minutes for roughing, I don't know. Was that there was no penalty called in Kaprizov. The original penalty in Domi would have been fighting major, and then Kaprizov would have had to have had at least a 2-minute minor given to him. They protected Kaprizov there, in my opinion.
Probably.
They did not want to give him a penalty for some reason, so they downgraded everything, but still gave Domi 10 minutes. And Dumba got nothing. So the argument coming back from the NHL player safety and everybody was that was a clean hit, no problem, didn't hit his head, blah, 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 wasn't late. So the NHL player safety, to me, abdicated the responsibility here because Pavelski was badly hurt.
Well, and that's a player that you would think would get the same treatment that a Kadri would,
Yes.
where it's basically an automatic suspension because of history.
It was really, really scary watching. Pavelski didn't know where he was. So they said, well, it wasn't late and it wasn't the head. Well, there are other angles which they didn't see, or if they did, they didn't share that. They didn't say that they'd said them. So this is, first of all, Hartman screened Pavelski so that Dumba could hit him, or Dumba saw that Hartman had screened him. Which, again, you cannot say intent, because nobody knows someone's intent. But if you wanted to hurt somebody, this is how you would do it. Joe had no idea it was coming, so all this head on a swivel shit, he should have been looking. He didn't know it was coming.
Right. Yeah, because from the other angle, it does look like he was admiring his pass for half a second before he gets hit. But this angle, he couldn't see it either way.
He had no idea it was coming, so he could not protect himself from it. See it again. So almost as if Dumba was waiting for the opportunity that Pavelski was screened to hurt him. Again, you cannot tell intent. It could just be bad luck. But it looked like he was going to hurt him. But it was certainly late, and he certainly was screened. So
definitely late.
Could not see it coming. No matter what the NHL player safety says, Joe had no idea it was coming. And then there's another angle which says, so they said, oh, he didn't hit his head. He didn't aim for the head. And his skates didn't leave the ice. Well, I'm sorry, but I beg to differ. Right in the head, right there. And his skates are off the ice.
I think
right there, his skates are off the ice. So I think, in my opinion, he intended to hurt him. Maybe not in respect of permanent injury, but at least get him out of the game or scare him so much for the rest of the series, knowing his history, that he'd be. And it succeeded. And Dumba got away with it, in my opinion. And to me, the NHL failed to protect Joe Pavelski there. And as we've seen, other players have since gone out and hit other players in the head because that encouraged them because they thought it was okay now.
So I'm going to play a little bit of devil's advocate and not trying to piss you off, but play that last replay again and watch Joe Pavelski's stick, because I believe that is what actually hits him in the head.
They claim it's Hartman's stick. But
okay. Let's see it again real quick, though.
The NHL actually says it's Hartman's stick.
Somebody's stick hits him in the head before the shoulder gets anywhere near it.
Well, I think that's the opposite. I think it's.
See, I think Pavelski's got his stick diagonal right here, and I think when he skates into him, he pushes the stick into his head before the shoulder gets him.
All I can see there is, and okay, let's say it was his stick. The NHL claimed it was Hartman's stick in the official statement. Mm-hmm. The Dumba is driving up. He comes off his skates.
I mean, you still got a problem, yes.
The head. It's a reckless hit. If it's not intending to injure, it's at the very least reckless. Again, knowing Pavelski's history. So, for me, it was an assault. It wasn't a hit. Joe was screened. He couldn't see it coming. It did impact his head, and it was late, but I hear the other people saying, no, perfectly clean hit, nothing wrong with that.
I don't think it was clean, because I think it was definitely late. And I think he did launch a little bit. I mean, there are multiple parts of it that are very much should have been. It should have been 5 and game, no matter what. And then, if you want to argue about the suspension afterwards, then I could see there being a case left or right. But I think 5 in game was the appropriate call there, and they should have stuck with it.
Yeah, and my feeling is, as a homer, that the NHL keeps bleating on about wanting to protect players from head injuries.
Yeah.
And then they had an opportunity here to send a message. They did nothing. In fact, they encouraged the Wild to then go further in future games, and they have done so. So
Yeah.
They've encouraged others to say, well, it's okay, you can go out and murder a guy and it's fine. It's the playoffs. It's all great.
Well, there's a few series where people, it looks like they're just picking off the best players left and right. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, what really riled everybody up though was at the same moment that Joe Pavelski's being helped off the ice, this was Dumba in the box, laughing his head off.
Yeah. Not showing much care for what he may have done.
Look at him laughing. That could be not only a career-ending injury for Joe Pavelski, he could be suffering permanent brain damage, given his previous history, and that guy's laughing in the box about it.
Yeah.
Oh, I did a great job. And his coach is defending him, and his coach is a real piece of work, Evans, defending him. So, sorry, that's what really riled people. He showed no concern. Afterwards, he showed no concern. He didn't say, I hope he's okay. It was like, oh, well, he should have been looking.
Right.
And that's just thug.
No, I fully understand the anger.
Yeah. Because what he's forgetting, or actually isn't forgetting, I think he's well aware of it, was what happened to him.
We've played the Wild in the past, and they've taken out our players at times as well. They took out Tyson Berry one year. They just blew his knee completely out.
Yeah, and that... Yeah, but to go for it, yeah. I mean, Pavelski may have... I mean, they're not talking about it this way yet, but what if he is to retire, and that's a career-ending hit? To me, that would be one of the saddest things ever by a plug to do that to him, you know?
Yeah.
But the NHL has basically said that was okay, go for it. And then they went on to win the game, of course. So, hey, your Muslim uncle, good to see you. Yeah, we're talking about the Pavelski hit and what happened to him in the past. I really feel for Joe. He's a gentleman. Everybody loves him in the game, apart from obviously Dumba and one or two others. So, yeah. Anyway, but then we had what happened in the bunting thing, which got a completely different reaction from NHL player safety.
Right.
So we might as well
3-game suspension.
Yeah, 3-game suspension, headshot to Cernak. Totally different reaction. Now I know that it was away from the play completely.
Got on the way, and it's deflected just wide of that Lightning net, and now Cernak's been hit, and he is down.
So this one got 3-game suspension. It's all that NHL player safety was all righteous about this one, and quite rightly, in my opinion, quite rightly. But why not that? Why one and not the other? You know,
right? Especially when Toronto is doing the reviews of all of the reviews.
Yeah. So
I don't know how much say Toronto has in reviews of penalty.
Yeah.
I know they have final say on goals, but I don't know what Toronto has to say on penalty reviews because it's kind of a newer thing. I don't know if it's the refs on ice get to see all the views of it and then revise their decision, or if Toronto advises and says, this is what we think, or if they just give them views.
I don't know how that works. I mean, obviously they're going to leave as much as possible to the guys in the ice, I think. But
right, but they don't typically for the goal reviews or offside reviews.
Yeah. So I don't know how everybody in the chat feels about this one. I mean, this was much more clearly a head hit.
And a launch, yeah.
Yeah. So, but the thing is, unless they have a consistent message about hits to the head or impacts to the head because of bad hits, then it's going to keep happening. And it's great to punish one, but then to give the thumbs up to the other. Yeah,
right.
Nothing wrong with that. I think that's a bad message, in my opinion.
See, that one's clearly head.
Yeah.
And clearly leaving the skates to do it. He jumps up through them.
Yeah.
Anyway. The thing is, this one doesn't look as violent as the Pavelski hit.
It doesn't look
but I see the contact a little bit different. So, I mean, I get what you're saying, definitely. And I think both of them probably should have been at very least game, and then you talk about suspension. But I think if you've got one that's that close, either way, it's game.
If they'd said in reviewing the Dumba one, because everyone was dumbfounded when they overturned the 5 minute in the game
Right.
on the night. They were like, "What? Are you kidding?" Because at the very least, it was reckless. Even if he had no intent to injure, it was totally reckless.
Yeah, it's a 5 minute roughing no matter what.
Yeah, and they downgraded that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they downgraded it to the point that even Krapatov didn't get and I'll keep calling that, didn't get a 2 minute penalty for being the third man in, but for roughing. But anyway. So, but the laughing in the box, I mean, that's sick. Just laughing like that.
Yeah, that's just proving you're an asshole.
Yeah. Anyway, I think I had a bonus clip here. So I mean, I've said my piece, and I appreciate what you're saying. You know that it wasn't as bad as the Bunting one.
No, I'm saying it actually looked worse, but I don't know that it was as clear cut as the Bunting one.
Yeah, and I appreciate what you're saying. Yeah, but I still think at the very least, if they'd said 5 in game, nobody would have complained.
No, I think that should have been automatic.
Yeah, and overturning that is a statement by them. That's whatever we got upset about. So here's another one from
Goal.
the
Avs 6-3, 2-14, empty net. That's Rantanen's second. That game's over.
Oh, it's well over. Yeah. So one more.
Sorry to interrupt.
6-3 to the Avs. Yeah, that's. I mean, they're gonna win the rest. I think they're gonna win the rest of these games. It's gonna be a 5-game series, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So Jake McCabe headshot on Michael E. Simon is just another example of.
Still sitting on the bench.
No, that's a headshot.
Esamon catches the shoulder here from McCabe.
So this is the shit that's going to keep happening unless they stop it.
Yeah. And that one, to me, yes, it's a headshot, and that one is also one where guy's not looking, though. I mean,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying there. It's that one is kind of the head on the swivel. He was looking at where he was going, and he wasn't paying attention to anything else. But he's got his head down. He's definitely lifting up through the head, though.
Yeah, and I don't think this was even penalised in the game. Probably because of what you said. He wasn't looking, and I may be wrong, but McCabe seems like
he was bent over with his head down, so it's hard to hit in a shoulder when the guy's playing recklessly with his own head.
And I would say that McCabe's probably a little taller, perhaps. He just seems to be like a couple of inches taller.
And that's something that also sometimes needs to be taken into account. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't, because you got a guy like, say, Zadorov. You know, he used to get called for elbowing all the time, and it was because his elbow is at head height. I mean, it's like if he's hitting with a shoulder, he has to be, bending down 4 or 5 inches to get the other guy's shoulder because his elbow is already at that height, and he's paid to hit.
That's the problem with it when you get really big guys like Chara or whatever. I mean, they don't even, they don't intend it. They're just so big.
Yeah. Your bodies just don't line up with the other guy's body the way that they want them to.
Yeah. So, Mike saying that Bunting was getting pushed around all the first game. I don't doubt it. I mean, I'm not going to doubt that. That's possibly very true.
So then you drop gloves with somebody.
Yeah.
You don't do a dirty hit would be my say there.
So your Muslim uncle, Department of Player Safety comes off as a joke to me, and the fact that it's run by a former goon, and I mean that he was a goon, the player that runs it, I can't remember his name now, but if they really cared, they wouldn't allow the postseason to become such a slaughterhouse. I love big hits, but not this stuff. And I've actually seen a few boardings in games that have been not called, and they're actual boardings. So
yeah, there's been a few.
Yeah. WG is here too. Davina is here. Well, good to see you, Davina. It doesn't look like good hockey to allow assassinations on ice. And if Pavelski's career is ended by that, that's a very, very rough way to go out,
Well, and the other weird part about how they call some of these things is, and how player safety does some of these things is, a lot of the time, it seems to be, well, if there was no injury, it's really not that bad. And then other times when there's a major injury, it's still really not that bad. But other times when there's no major injury, there's a goal for Seattle. When there is a major injury, they were on the power play with
39 seconds left.
The empty net. It's 39 seconds. Who cares? But when it's just habit when I see a goal in my game. When there is a major injury, I don't know what they're thinking sometimes, because you can have a major injury and they'll give nothing out. You can have no injury, they'll give something out just because of how egregious it looked. But yeah, they seem to take weird things into account on whether they suspend or.
And it's the lack of consistency that really annoys people. And I get it. On the ice, things are going so fast, so much is happening, things can go wrong. But that's why there's reviews.
Yeah.
So, the lack of consistency and the lack of concern about certain things, and then other things they'll give a 2-minute penalty for someone tapping someone on the skate,
Yeah, and like Smokey said, the other piece of that is reputation, because there's Kadri's going to get called and suspended for absolutely anything. It happened with 2 teams.
Sure.
Yes, I mean he deserved it in at least one of them. I mean, there's other times where it was like people were calling for suspensions, and he got to the point where he wasn't doing any hitting because he was going to get suspended for anything he did.
Just like Radulov.
He played like 3 rounds last year without touching anybody, and he was just getting graped out there on the ice.
Top, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, reputations do count, and the zebras they're human. Some of them have got real biases. That's why there's reviews. I forgot to say I'm drinking the Indian.
Oh yeah, we did mine and forgot to do yours, didn't we?
The Amra Indian single malt whiskey. It's going down very well, I have to say.
Nice.
Thank you everybody for putting up with my rant earlier.
Oh, no problem at all. I kind of figured that one was coming because I watched the game. So this is because of this show. This is the first time I'm kind of paying attention to games every single night, except when I'm on Monday and Thursday. Because Thursday, I was still watching the Avs game during Thursday night throwdown, but trying to hide it the best that I could. Yeah, I'm staring over here most of the show, and I didn't really start talking until Rumble because it was like, there's plenty of people there talking. I can just pay attention and occasionally pipe in.
Like you're listening.
Yeah, start a cigar and start watching.
So that's that game over. Fair play to the Kraken. They give it a go, against the Stanley Cup champions. It's not bad. They've done well.
Yeah,
spirited. It's like the guys in the movie 300 that come in with to help the Spartans. Just a little handful of them. They go, they're amateurs, but they give it their spirited go.
Oh, I thought they were more like the Hunchback.
So
no. I mean they took home ice advantage away from us for in that first game, and we've earned it back. But
strangely enough, it's another
they
series
picked one off.
2-1.
And they got us in their record books, because everything that the Kraken do this year will be in their record books as first playoff goal, first playoff win, first playoff game, all that kind of stuff. So it'll be all Avs and Kraken for their firsts for the record books. So it's kind of cool either way.
They're going to love the Avs forever.
Yeah. I'm sure they will.
Yeah. So as WG, welcome WG, our great friend and hockey player. The maximum fines players get is also a joke. I have to agree with that. I think fining a player $5,000? It's nothing. I mean, he can drop that on a night out for dinner on his own. I mean, it doesn't hurt.
Well, they don't hurt in any of the sports, really.
Yeah, most hits don't hurt when you're not prepared for that. And that's the thing, that Pavelski wasn't prepared. And it wasn't because he wasn't really paying attention. He was screaming. So, and that could just be bad luck. Your Muslim uncle. Can we talk about how the NHL tries to make the regular season more family-friendly since the NBC partnership, but then lets years of postseason wins like Caps lose?
I mean, playoff hockey is a step up either way. I mean,
Yeah.
during the regular season, the thing is, the NHL has destroyed so many of the rivalries. That's why the regular season is so, I guess, family friendly. But I mean, without the rivalries like we used to have, you don't have the same situations that we used to see. I mean, yeah, there's still some, but most of the rivalries have just died down so much that it's not the same thing. But in the playoffs, that's when rivalries are recreated, and everybody knows that everybody's stepping up their game, and the refs are letting a little bit more go. I mean, the number of hits in playoff games compared to regular games is just astonishing.
Yeah. So George Paris, that's the guy's name. I couldn't remember it. I've read it a million times. I couldn't remember. Thanks, WG. Yeah, I mean, I think we can see that in the Wild Stars games, and I must say I'm exceptionally disappointed that the Stars played their worst game of the season in Game 3. It was just appalling.
Yeah.
Whether that was because of external factors like coaches and referees, and the media have certainly been all heavily on the Wild side. I don't know why. Getting to them, I don't know, or whether they just like had a bad night. Or maybe they were on their time of the month. I don't know.
Well, it's the first away game too. I mean,
Yeah.
the crowd can be a bit of a factor there too when you're away. I mean, it's the first game that crowd gets to see playoff for, Game 3 is the away team's first time being in their home. So if the crowd gets it going, then sometimes that momentum carries.
Yeah, they didn't react particularly well in the third game to anything that had happened. But the second game they stomped on the Wild.
Yeah, they crushed them.
Yeah, the Wild were missing certain players, and they had a very clearly very past it Fleury in goal. Like the poor guys.
Yeah,
past it.
Don't know why they made the change after the first game either way.
I think they actually decided the Wild to sacrifice that game. They knew they were going to be without three players on the ice, Hartman, a couple of others.
Yeah, but I still wouldn't.
Screw it.
I still wouldn't take it from the hot hand and give it to Fleury just because I mean, I don't get that one. I don't understand the decision there. Let's take it from the hot hand and give it to
It
Fleury.
certainly made a difference because Rupi Hintz got a hat trick and Dadonov got 2, and it was never in any doubt that game. It was weird. It's just like they said, you know what, we're going to scrub this one and get back home with a split.
Yeah, but you could at least keep the momentum off of Dallas' side if you're Minnesota, if you don't just allow a blowout.
It's okay, we can do that ourselves. We don't need the Wild to help us.
Yeah, but you get what I'm saying. I mean, if you allow a whole bunch of guys to get hat tricks and, start scoring goals, you can get them heated up, and that could kill you in a series. I mean, Fleury did not have it. So
I mean, I actually, everybody likes Fleury. I mean, I think as a guy, but he's done.
probably.
Like he's done. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I can't really. So every series is at 2-1. I'm not feeling that confident about the Stars because of the terrible performance in Game 3. But we'll see. Game 4 tomorrow. You never know. Things could change.
Yeah. At this point, I think there's probably. I mean, when we were filling out the brackets, we were pretty heavy towards about 4 teams really having a shot. But I think it's probably more like 12 or 14 teams are good enough that they could probably do it.
Yeah, and we'll definitely be looking at the brackets soon. We've got a few clips of notable things that have happened in the first 3 games. So let's fire into some of those. Here we go. So this is possibly one of the greatest Oscar-worthy performances of in hockey ever. So let me just show this.
Watch as he
The
gets up,
knee on
sees
knee.
him coming, he kind of slips that hit. Boy, I don't know.
Yeah, now I would say that if that was a ballet, there's a technical name for that dive.
I would say if you took a dive and got yourself injured doing it, that's absolutely stupid. I mean, I thought it looked like skate on skate, and he embellished it to the point that he actually hurt himself.
He did.
Stupid.
Yeah, let's see that again.
Watch as he gets up, he kicks, he sees him coming, he kind of slips.
Yeah,
that
I
hit.
mean,
Boy,
skate
I don't
or
know.
ankle.
Skate or ankle on ankle. I mean, that's
I think
that's
the Bally
crazy.
term is like a pas de deux or something. There's
Watch
a
as he
technical
gets
term.
up, he kicks, he sees him coming, he kind of slips that hit. Boy, I don't know.
I believe that soccer teams have searched out Arvidsson there to give him a contract.
Yeah. You're going to have somebody come from off the bench with a spray can and
That's right.
spray it down?
A sponge.
Lay there rolling around for an hour?
I mean, I think that's embellishment.
And I don't think it was called embellishment is the insane part.
It wasn't, no. It wasn't.
There's been quite a lot of talk from a few coaches through a few of these playoff series about the amount of embellishment that's going on and not getting called. People are taking dives left and right, and at certain teams that seem to be coaching their guys, they're going to call it, so take dives.
Well, Evanson, the Wild coach, accused the Stars players of doing it, and I think it had an effect on them because they were as timid as frack in the last game.
Yeah.
So maybe it got to them. I don't know, but maybe there's been a degree of that. But all three of those Stars Wild games, the refereeing has been so bad it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
What's a call?
Right.
LeBron James. Well, yes. Did he cry? Did Arvidsson cry there? I don't know. Maybe he did. It's the acrobatic twist. So I think if that was in the Olympic gymnastics, rhythmic gymnastics, that would have got a 10 out of 10.
Yeah. He did not stick the landing.
He did not. So speaking of sticking, though, obviously a major controversy about a non-high stick call.
Yeah, I
Oilers fans.
have things on this one too.
So I have the fanatical Oilers fans as friends. They are not happy. This is supposedly the proof. And
It absolutely hits the stick.
yes.
I don't know how you get multiple views of this one and do not see that it changes when it gets right at the stick.
Reverses direction.
Yeah, and revolutions.
Right there. Yeah.
Right there.
Right there.
It hits right at the elbow of the stick, and it flips a different direction. I mean, it changes the direction it was flipping.
Yeah.
So, yeah, although it doesn't bother me at all to see Edmonton lose a game, it sucks when it's on a bad call like that in an overtime game.
Yeah, Oilers were robbed, kind of. I mean, they could still have lost anyway, who knows, but...
Yeah, I thought we were going with the other stick, the one where the guy got it lifted into his own face, and it was a no call. And I agreed with that no call.
I think we may have that elsewhere.
Okay, I thought that was what you were leading into,
Is
but
that
yeah,
the Jets one? No.
it was the first night of games. I can't remember who it was. I know it was bookmarked, and we had it set up for tonight. I just can't remember which one it is.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
We had so many plays this week because there's so much crazy going on in the NHL.
And unfortunately, I've had limited time domestically to sort them all out, but we'll find it, don't worry. So, hey, Southern Belle, good to see you. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Appreciate it very much. Thanks for all your comments, both on YouTube and over in Rumble, where
We made the top of the sports page, I was told a little while ago. So
cool. 11 thumbs up over there, and lots of chat going on. I wish I could show them all on the screen a lot easier, but
yeah,
I keep
the
asking
chat
Rumble.
the chat is actually very important to me on the Rumble side, only because if we're on the top page and people are coming in to check and see what's going on, if the chat isn't moving or doing anything, or if it's just stagnant, they're likely to just check out because it's like, oh, there's nothing happening here. So I really appreciate everybody that's over there chatting.
Yeah, so I mean, I use, just technically speaking, for streaming, I use Melon. which is a Streamlabs product, and I have multiple times requested from them that they allow the adding of Rumble chats live to
Yeah.
stream like we can do with YouTube. So they've said it's coming. They've got no date on that, but the sooner the better. Yeah.
I think it is actually a Rumble thing that they haven't released a code to do that yet.
Yeah.
Is what I think's going on there.
Sure. It'll happen though. And then we can show them all, which is great. But yeah, thanks for being over there, and also thanks for being here on YouTube. On both streams, many of you are. Thank you. Yeah, so next clip that we have, okay. This is a really hilarious, well, I'll just show it because it's self-explanatory.
This contact, up and over. He just doesn't like the way he's being talked to down on the bench and punches one of the
So Isles Gaines, Nekas is thrown into the bench, but decides to mete out some alternative justice on people who didn't throw him into the bench. I do like the Isles goalie kind of helping him out now. I think that's quite hilarious. No penalty on the hit over the boards. I don't know if it was that bad a hit, but the fact that he just starts punching people at random in the back.
Yeah.
Boom. What's interesting is the Islanders goalie actually tries to help him at first and then realizes what he's done. And
Right.
He's going to gut punch him. So it's hilarious. That was funny.
That's almost as good as the stick being stolen. Did you see that one?
Yeah, I did see that one.
Yep. Hockey boys are crazy.
Yeah, they are. We got a fight. No, actually, we've not. This isn't a fight. Sorry, this is the Game 2 Devils Rangers and Adam Fox. Let me just call this one up. So. He was called for roughing, and it's possibly, people are calling it one of the softest calls in history, but let's see what we think about this one.
He was shaky in game one, but he hasn't been shaky in this first period. And this is right at the end, the attempted deflection. And see, there's Marino comes in, and a little bit of a cross check. Fox comes in just to pull Marino away.
And Fox was called for roughing, Joe.
So Fox, who just kind of comes in and
keeps it separated.
Keeps it separated, gets called 2 minutes for roughing.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah, I've seen full punches being thrown in scrums and nobody ends up going. And you call that? I mean, he's hugging him.
Yes, he's just basically giving him a hug. He's not trying to fight. He's not. Yeah, I don't get it. But he's on Zibanejad. Yeah, well, that's true. So TC Burton can't stand the Canes. They're still the Whalers to him. So obviously you couldn't stand the Whalers either, TC. I don't know. I kind of like the Whalers, but or the idea of the Whalers. So anyway, that was apparently that was a 2-minute call for roughing. Yeah, you can lay someone out and cause them brain damage, and yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
Whisper sweet nothings in the rear. That's roughing. Okay, we do have a fight. Yes, sorry, it's got a fight here. This is game 2 of the Bolts at the Leafs. Tanner Gino and Luke Shen getting quite a reasonable tilt here, I think.
This is the third. Shen's finally going to take the challenge. I guess you don't do it a couple of times. If Bedford will get the left hand going, perhaps get the late decision. That's a pretty good scrap, but it continues on.
A spirited display, I would say.
Yeah, and we had another fight in between those teams tonight. It was Stamkos, and I can't remember who the other guy was. I can't remember who it was.
It was Stamkos and
It was 260 plus goal scorers.
oh, it was Matthews or Tavares. I've got it here actually. Yeah, you're right.
Do we have it? Okay.
We do
Yeah,
have
it's the
it.
first time in the playoffs I think they said that 260 plus goal
I
scorers
think it was Matthews.
went at it. And Stamkos has never been in a fight, I think.
I don't recall him ever fighting.
No, I think that's his first 5-minute major for fighting. Or first 5-minute fighting penalty.
Pretty sure it's Matthews. We don't have a long clip of it, unfortunately. You just got
Yeah, that was the problem. Is I watched it live, but I had it muted because I was doing stuff, and his jersey comes up, so I never really got a view of it.
That's Stamkos.
It is Matthews.
Matthews 34, yeah.
Yeah.
So 260 goal scorers going at it.
Yep.
There's an awful lot of gear lying on the ice for two guys fighting. One more time.
That was a pretty crazy game.
Yeah, Stamkos is not a fighter, ever.
Well, you don't want guys like that fighting
No. As long as he's fighting Matthews, though, that's okay.
until you break a knuckle.
So Mike DiCarlo's in the chat. I don't know how he even thought about it. Yeah, it wasn't really a fight.
Yeah.
It looked pretty spirited. I mean, there wasn't a lot of punching around, but I don't know. I mean, Stamkos, it's not his bag. Matthews, does Matthews fight? I've seen him fight a couple of times, but
I mean, he probably fights like McKinnon. If he fights at all, he probably fights like McKinnon. He's got to be actually pissed off and
yeah.
probably sticking up for somebody else.
So WG was a North Stars fan. Yeah, well, we know what happened to those guys. They went up in the world.
Yeah. And now all the guys that are helping Dallas are from Minnesota, including Ottinger.
And, yeah, we got a bunch of Minnesota guys.
Your whole team's Minnesota guys playing against Minnesota.
They're either that or from Finland. It's one or the other. Yeah. So Stamkos, would you say Stamkos won that? He looked like he was on top, but you know, he had a bigger handbag.
It was kind of swinging fist as we fall to the ground together.
Yeah. Good stuff.
WG's right, though. McKinnon likes to throw the helmets every now and then.
Well, we did see that clip.
We saw that one last week, I think, or maybe 2 weeks ago, where he was just like, here's your helmet back.
I agree with WG as well, though, not just about that, but about the mustache. I really can't stand it. It's like Errol Flynn had a sort of I don't want to say the R word, a son that wasn't quite all there. Yeah, you know, Errol Flynn with that mustache. It's something not right about it, you know.
Yeah, mustaches require something else with it.
Yeah, I think he just looks to me like an extra from the Hills of Eyes or something.
I have noticed that it doesn't seem like a lot of guys did the pre-playoff shave to grow the playoff beard. They're just letting their actual beards go instead of shaving clean and growing an actual playoff beard.
I'm actually quite disappointed with the beards this year. There's no real outstanding growth.
Yeah, there's no big Joe Thornton beard out there right now.
Well,
we got, what's the other former San Jose player? I can't believe
Brent
I'm
Burns.
blanking on this. Burns, yeah.
he's
Playing and he's got a beard still, doesn't he?
he's like
Pretty wild beard, doesn't he? Yeah.
He does. He's always been like that, though. I mean,
Yeah, I
right
think
now,
that's the only one that's out there. But
he looks like he's a Sasquatch or something.
but even the baby faces didn't really shave their faces for the playoff beard. It looks like they all already had some stuff going on, or I don't know. There's not a lot of. There doesn't seem to be a lot of attention on the playoff beards this year so far.
It used to be a real thing, and now I'm like, I haven't seen one apart from the established ones that were there anyway.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, I guess some of them are just like they're like 12, 13 years old. So
yeah, I don't think McCarr could grow a beard either way. I think he tried last year, and it was like just a little fuzz, just
the peachy fuzz.
Yeah, and Byram, I don't know if you heard last year during the parade for he's so baby faced that the cops, pulled him aside and held on to him, and we're like, yeah, you can't be on this side of the rope. And the rest of the team from the fire truck had to say, he's one of the players.
They do look so young, but then that's from my vantage point.
Well, he is young. He's like 19 or 20 at that point. I mean, the guy is very young, and he looks like a little kid.
Yeah, living the dream, though. So there was an absolutely hilarious thing happened. I've watched it a few times. I still can't hear everything. So in the
the mic'd up.
The Panthers Bruins game 2, hot mic, and I think it was because what's the commentator's name? Ferraro.
Yeah, he's in between the benches.
Them. So Nosek hits Stahl with a high hit, or regarded as a high hit. And Stahl and Matthew Tkachuk get triggered, and everybody kind of congregates either side of Ferraro. And if you listen very carefully, there's a shitload of stuff going on.
And then the commentators are trying to talk over it because they can hear it.
And I've got some of this on the screen as text.
The deficit now 4. I guess one of the questions I would have for you, Ray, will they go to Jeremy Swayman, the Bruins? Some tempers flaring here after the whistle.
Yeah,
it's been a tandem, obviously. Allmark's been
talking about his mother.
Talking about his mother, yeah.
But Swayman,
that's a nice period.
A pretty close second for Boston. Yeah, they won the Jennings Trophy as the best duo.
And Swayman's like trying to be impassive about it.
There is Jeremy Swayman, 24.
Now, there's somebody shouting something there, and I couldn't make it out.
No, but there were a bunch of F-bombs dropped and a bunch of she's a whore.
Yeah. The Jennings Trophy is the best duo.
There is Jeremy Swayman, 24.
The positioning of the mic was just perfect.
Went to some pretty good lines going back and forth here. The guys are barking at each other. And it would not surprise me if Swayman goes in for Game 3 just for the fact that they have...
Yeah, because there's a bunch going on and I can't hear it. I couldn't make it out, but they're saying something. And then
options that other teams simply don't have.
Yeah, I think it would be Swayman. I mean,
it sounds like Shorzy now.
Jim Montgomery said they
quite a bit of chirping.
The Stanley Cup Final in 2013 when took
I mean, they're just standing in front of him, yelling back and forth.
Jim Montgomery said they would.
Go back to your
locker room.
Yeah, I couldn't. You're something whole. I couldn't make it out completely.
Be afraid. The Stanley Cup Final in 2013 when Tuukka Rask gave up 6 in Game 4 to the
on camera.
Matthew Tkachuk's giving it with Thomas Nosek here. They've been going at it for about 35 seconds. When Stahl went down in the corner.
And I don't know what's going on. Was it like an advert timeout or something? They're all just sitting there waiting for something.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it had to have, but they were still live, so it couldn't have been an ad. Maybe it was fixing some ice or something. No idea.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Snowdog, I am only 8 subs away from 1K. So if anybody, God love you all. If anyone hasn't subbed yet, go for it. Hey, good to see you, Snowdog.
And hit the like and share out both streams. See if we can get some people in here that maybe haven't watched the show and will sub to 70s. Get them to the 1,000.
Yeah, and we're doing gangbusters on Brahma's Rumble. So keep that up, everybody. Yeah, there's more though.
Let's see the athletic therapist going back to the Florida bench.
Oops.
Now that sounds like Shorzy.
They're not happy.
No, apparently they're not.
No, we're Canadians.
Why don't you moderate, Ray? You're kind of a diplomat. You could be a statesman, step in there and try to...
Actually, when I was playing, I was doing that. But from the safety of my bench.
These guys are talking.
But so now Nosek and Tkachuk are going at it.
She's a whore again. I'm talking about somebody's mother. It's Stahl, I think, now. It's both Stahl and Tkachuk, but Stahl's doing most of it.
Pretty good here.
Yeah.
And this has got to do...
She's a orphan whore.
But Stahl's got that Shorzy high voice.
He has, yeah. I'm only taking one of you. And, yeah.
You didn't get the first one?
Oh, here comes Liam.
He punched you right in the head.
He punched me right in the head. 4th place in a 14 league, Shores. You're living the dream.
You fucking saw it, Shorzy.
Yeah, and you fucking retaliated.
I punched him in the chest. He punched me right in the head.
You retaliate, you go for 2, Liam. It's the first thing they teach you in hockey. You're so fucking simple.
That's a terrible call.
Yeah, that's why you're in your 6th year of high school, you fucking idiot. Fuck.
It's definitely Shorzy's voice. Definitely.
In the corner where Stahl was slow to his
I
feet.
think there's a bit more.
And Ryan Lombard comes
Well,
over.
they're calming down
Not exactly a peacemaker, but he's coming over here to stare at Noshik on the Bruins bench.
Well, it's the playoffs.
Maybe that was
Communication
it.
department.
Oh, there we go. Lomberg's having a go now.
Yeah, we're not splitting the atom down here.
We're not splitting the atom.
We'll
It's
go
got
back
to be the funniest thing in the
what
playoffs so far.
instigated all of this, and it's in the corner where
Yeah, but that's hilarious.
It was.
God. And I think that the fact is that we were talking about this before, and that's players of WG will know that's completely normal.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing we've seen on Twitter is a whole bunch of Puritans, and yeah, I'm religious, but I know what this is. I mean, the whole point of chirping, trash talking, whatever, you're trying to get under the other guy's skin. You're trying to make him pissed off, and it's absolutely ridiculous to sit there and be like completely offended that a whole bunch of hockey players are cussing each other out on the benches. Insane.
Yeah,
But it was funny.
It was hilarious. I mean,
The reactions, though, I thought were funny too, because it's like, how could they say those things? It's like, there is a thing called locker room talk, and it happens on the benches between two teams more than it happens in the locker room.
That was mild compared to stuff that it's that was pretty mild. So
that's mild compared to Shorzy.
It is, well, sure, yeah.
And he's the ref cussing out everybody.
So we have a question over on the Rumble side, which I've pasted in here from Sassy Southern Belle. Do goalies' beards get caught in the helmet? I don't think they really do. I mean, I guess up here they might, but
I mean, Grubauer's got he always has a beard, and it's a pretty healthy, respectable beard, but doesn't seem to give him any trouble.
Yeah, I think not even with a full face rig. I mean, that doesn't even touch their beard. So
no, because it's kind of out in front a little bit. There's some space there. You don't want to get hit with the puck right across your nose and have the bar directly touching your nose, so there is space there.
Yeah, I think Mike, you're right. The hockey, there's a lot of cussing and shouting and screaming and bumping. And later on, they all go for a beer, or most of them. So.
Men, that's what we do. I mean,
that
is masculinity. We'll say horrible things to each other, and then have a fight, have a hug. That's it.
We shit talk. Yes, we shit talk each other. Yeah.
You should hear the backstage at Comics Division's channel. You think we're mean to culture on the front?
Oh no, I've heard it occasionally. When
I know you do. I'm talking to the chat. Yeah, we rip each other pretty good all the time, and it's all in good fun. We're all good friends.
It's merciless.
It happens.
It is fun, and it's.
Those guys could end up on the same team next year, and they're going to be be friends.
Isn't that funny when you've got guys that have been at each other for years, fighting or whatever, and they end up in the same team, and then they're like this, they're tight like that. Most
because they've been in the trenches.
Tell us what the comment was. I can't remember that one. WG.
I can't believe I shook his effing hand or something to that effect.
Is that it? Yeah, right. Anyway, that was one of the. I think that's the funniest moment of the playoffs so far, for me anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. So we had just something that's probably not as funny, but we had a missed high sticking in the Canes Isles series.
Just see where that goes on.
See, I don't think it was missed. There was a full breakdown of it. The stick is at waist height, and he lifts the guy's stick with his own stick into his own face.
You can see both of them there, yeah.
Right. He lifts this stick into his own face. You can't control the stick if the guy's lifting it from behind and gets hit with it in the face. I think it's a good no call.
Yeah, and the ref is right there. So
yeah. I mean, everybody was complaining that it wasn't called, and it's like, Well, you forced it into your own face.
Yeah, because otherwise...
That's not the other guy being out of control of his stick. That's
Yeah.
you intentionally lifting the stick, and it went into your face. Bad luck.
Yeah, WG agrees with you. Now I've looked at it closely. I think you are correct. At first...
It's the next frame, right there.
Yeah.
The guy has the stick down. He is not lifting that stick up. Matthews, I think, is who that is, right? Or no, I can't see who it is. But he's actually lifting the Canes player's stick up with his own stick. And then it goes into his face.
I can't even see that.
It's Martin Hook is who WG says it is.
Right, yeah. Martin Hook. And, the Canes player is not even... I mean,
he's leaving the play. He's going after the puck.
He's leaving the play, and at that angle, with his arm behind him, it's extremely difficult to lift your stick extremely high from that angle behind you. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't... There was controversy about this. I don't understand why. Because it's clear when you watch the replay that he lifted the stick into himself.
Yeah, so it's a good non-call in this case.
Yeah.
The ref was right there, so.
I think so.
Yeah. Cool.
I think most people think so. I think the homers probably disagree. So
we always do. Homers always do.
That's part of being a homer.
But as Pete DeBoer said after the game one with the Pavelski hit, he said the NHL has the best officials in any sport in the world.
That's trying not to get a fine.
And he said it with a straight face, so
I think the only ref I actually like is Macaulay.
Wes Macaulay's great. I
enjoy Macaulay. Yeah. He's a fantastic ref that likes to talk it up with the players and likes to make it fun. And people say that he's showboating all the time because of how he calls the penalties. That's 5 minutes for fighting.
But it's entertainment. He's part of the show.
But yeah, it's just. But I mean, it's not like he's trying to make himself part of the show. He just has personality.
Yeah.
And yeah, he misses some calls. But Wes Macaulay, that guy is so fun.
Yeah,
it's rare that you even know a referee's name, let alone say, yeah, that's my favorite ref in the league.
Yeah, normally you wouldn't know, or you shouldn't know them, but he is. Yeah, you're right. He's pretty good. And when you hear some of the refs talking after, you hear them doing talks like for after dinner things or whatever. Some of them can be extremely funny and amusing.
Yeah,
they're only human.
There were quite a few when I used to watch the NFL. There were quite a few refs I knew in the NFL, but I mean it's a little bit different in hockey because you're not seeing them constantly, calling penalties. They do, but it's not quite the same as the NFL because there's so many more penalties in the NFL. But I mean, it's been a long time since I've watched the NFL. It's been like 3 or 4 years, but there were a few refs that they were more ripped than half of the players. I mean, they were fun.
So we all love a good ref.
This is fucked. Hey, you know what's fucked, Cora? The amount of times your mom's faked a jellyfish sting to get me to piss on her.
Lovely Sherry has come in and says she knows nothing about hockey.
Well,
you'll learn.
I don't know anything either, so you're in good company. Brahma does, but I don't.
There's lots of people that came into the chat originally that didn't know anything about hockey, and a lot of people in chat that know a lot about hockey. So, we're not experts either. We just love it. So
I just love watching it. Yeah, I mean, I'm by no means an expert. I'm a relative latecomer to the game. I've only been watching it for 20 years or 25
and for the most part, I'm a homer. I mean, I watch my team for not a lot of other stuff. So, but Sherry, it's a simulcast. So if you want to pop open the Rumble side too, we've got a chat going over there. So
for sure,
good to see you over here.
Let me just pop in the link on the YouTube side to the Rumble side. Hang on.
Oh, I already did.
Oh, you did? All right. Well, it's too late now.
I've got a pre-written script just to steal people from you. You're
not stealing it. Hey, if we only ever did it in Rumble, that would be fine. It's not a problem.
No, all the people that we know on the YouTube side tend to also be on our Rumble side. So we appreciate everybody that simulcast it with us.
As long as we've got an audience, I don't care where it is. So
yeah. And we got 13 people in our bracket.
Woohoo! Yeah, we'll be take a look at that very shortly. We have a couple more clips to show. So I
Yeah,
think we're
and we
gonna
won't be doing vintage this for probably the playoffs because. Oh, do you have some?
I have two.
Okay.
But just two.
Yeah.
Just because they popped up on Twitter, and I thought, oh, they're quite interesting.
Yeah.
Because they're from the playoffs.
The show will just be a little bit different through the playoffs because there's so much that's important in each of these games, unlike the regular season where it's just like, all right, the regular season game, so we do some vintage stuff. We'll probably be paying much more attention to every single game going on every single week all the way through this stretch.
I think so, yeah. So this is probably a guy that's going to be candidate for Iron Man of the series of the playoffs. Morgan Barron of the Jets, who got a skate in the face.
Skate to the face. This is gross.
It is. Oh, it's totally accidental. Totally accidental. Like
Yeah, it is. But 79 stitches.
79 stitches, and then he returned
And
to
then
the
he
game.
came back. That's a hockey player right there.
Yeah, comes back with it. He's only off for about 5-6 minutes or something, or 10 minutes. Comes back, full face rig, yeah, but he got 75.
I mean, the cut is up on the top of his forehead because it goes under the face shield. The heel actually goes to the top of his head under the helmet. He's lucky he didn't lose an eye.
Yeah, and no fault on the behalf of Brossois, or however you pronounce the goalie's name. It's just
yeah, he's flopping all over the place just trying to play goalie, and the guy happens to line up with his skate.
Yeah, right there, you can see it just about to go.
And it really wasn't even a check or anything that initially brought him down. I mean, yeah, the guy's kind of over him, but it was just a scrum around the net.
So he's definitely getting the Iron Man award, I think, so far. But, yeah, it's just
it was scary when we first saw it. When it was happening live, it was just like, oh.
you all go, oh. Shit.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's been situations where skates have sliced people's jugular in a game. I mean, we've seen a goalie with that happen. We've seen a few neck slits.
I think it was in the OHL or AHL. A goalie got his artery cut in his inner thigh. A couple of years ago, that was a scary one. Yeah.
Well, on the Landeskog thing, the thing that's shutting down his career was a skate across the knee.
Yeah.
I mean, that one's not as scary, life-threatening, but we've had goalies who have had arterial spurts going off.
Oh yeah. Femoral artery. Yeah, that was the one that
the femoral
player. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just pure bad luck as well.
But they haven't had anybody die that I know of from a skate incident. We've had heart issues on the bench, that kind of stuff, but I don't think a skate and a bleed out has happened.
No, thankfully.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of Achilles have been cut, yeah, and other things like that, and wrists.
Yeah.
So this is you're going to have to explain to me. This was an Avs. All I've got written here is Avs GIF. Oh, it's a big hit.
Oh, it was just a huge hit.
Ooh.
We needed some hits. I threw in a big one.
Now, you see, I look at that hit and I go, that's fine, because the guy could see it coming.
The guy left his own feet.
Yes.
I mean...
And it was definitely not to the head, it was to the body. It was just big because of the momentum, but
yeah,
perfectly good hit, yeah.
It was just a fun hit. Probably not for their player, but...
Not for their player, yeah. But luckily he didn't land... He landed a bit in his head, but not too bad.
Protected. I mean, he had the arms down on the ice.
The thing is about a hit like that is it can hurt the guy doing it just as much as the guy receiving sometimes. So it's, yeah.
We saw a few helicopter hits over the past week too. I don't know if we got any of them. I didn't remember seeing any that were ones that spitting chiclets or any of them actually documented. But there have been some big hits in the playoffs. If you like watching hits, this has been the playoffs to watch big hits, except for the Avs and Kraken.
That's right. Yeah, that's been the only big one. Yeah.
The only other series I don't know if there's been major hits has been the Devils. I have not caught one of those games yet. I don't know if that one's heated up. Yeah, I don't know if that series is heated up like some of the others, but most of the series have been just really heated.
So
there's like 2 or 3 series where nothing's going on.
Speaking of heated, here's an excellent piece of trolling.
Yep. It's Devin Taves scoring the go-ahead goal in the third.
What does this signify? I have no idea what that means.
I think it's I'm bigger than you.
I thought he was just, something to do with shaking a bottle of water on them. Or...
And the funny thing is, Taves is pretty low-key. I mean,
I've never seen him do that before.
He's so low-key, but, I mean, yeah, that ended up being the game-winning goal, and I think he knew it then.
That's funny. I still have no idea what that symbol means.
No, of course not. Not a man your age.
No, indeed.
Or mine, for that matter.
Yeah. I'll say no more, because domestically I might get into trouble. But more Avs. We have more Avs. I'm not showing any star stuff because we've been shit. But this is I think the only save that we've marked out this week. This is excellent save.
Oh, this one kept us in the game.
Toe gets his toe right over there.
Georgiev with the right.
He had to go from the splits to more of the splits.
On Jordan Eberle to keep this score tied at 2.
My groin is like, ooh.
Yeah, beautiful save. I mean, it may not be the save of the playoffs so far, but it was definitely a save that saved that game.
Yeah, it's an awesome save, and although if Eberle there could just lift the puck, if he could elevate the puck, that would help.
And that was a 3-on-1, maybe 3-on-2.
Yeah, it was a great move, but great save. Yeah, good stuff. I think it's the only one I'd marked out this week.
Yeah, that was the only one we found that we had like a small clip of it.
Yeah, and I've got one more Avs item, which again I will let you explain. But this is the goal that kind of settled you guys down in game 2. I think. Was it game 2?
I think so. Yeah.
Boom. Yeah.
That was Makar finally getting on the board. It was just a laser.
Beautiful, yeah. Absolutely gorgeous.
I mean, yeah, I think it got deflected, but either way, that's
just hit a body.
That is a bullet going at the
that's you.
3-on-1, but yeah, that was a bullet going at the goalie.
Yeah, gorgeous stuff. I mean,
have a good night, WG. Thanks for coming over.
Cheers. Thanks for being here, buddy. Good to see you. Always good to see you. What I haven't seen behind the benches though is a lot of cleavage. I think we're missing a lot of cleavage this year.
Dallas fans are failing us.
Yeah, no cleavage. Where is it?
Yeah, where is she?
I don't know.
Yeah, you're worried about this getting you in trouble domestically, but you'll talk about the chick that's constantly behind the Dallas bench.
My wife watches the games with me, so
yeah.
I can't avoid talking about it. I'll go, how awful is... Look at how that shameless woman...
I think even my wife knows about the Dallas chick. I think she's an Instagram model or something.
She is.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it just like...
I haven't seen her much this year.
No,
but I didn't watch a ton of the Dallas games, but I did watch quite a few, and I didn't see her. I think she may have been there for the former coach.
Well, indeed. Well, when it was Monty, it was great because it was like 3 bald heads in a row.
Yeah, it was Total Recall.
Yeah, so I did have a couple of. We've got a couple of older clips. We were looking at some good and bad hits earlier, but this is an example of playoff hitting at its finest.
And now the Flyers will pick it up and bring it back. Oh, what a hit by Campbell! Holy
Brian Campbell hitting Umberger in 2006. I don't think he can breathe after this.
No.
And now the players
Wind got
will pick
knocked
it up
out of
and
him.
bring it back.
And he may have been out for a second.
And just back to the hit, bam. He's gasping for breath on it.
And he probably didn't have to go for any kind of protocol at that point.
No, he'd be getting up and trying to hit the person back.
He'd go to the bench and then be on the next shift.
Yeah, Will Ferrell apparently was at the Kings game.
Yes,
and
in full face paint.
He was in half blackface, I believe. But is that a thing you can get cancelled for, half blackface?
If you could, then the Raiders fans would have been canceled for the history of the NFL.
I've certainly seen Will Ferrell at a bunch of Kings games in the past.
Oh, he loves hockey.
Yeah, it's quite. He's done a few things in the past that are quite funny.
Yeah.
And I did have one other. Yeah, we've got one more. If this is from 1985 playoffs, Caps v the Isles. This is quite interesting. It's a goal, so there's a slash.
Yeah,
by
just
Billy
a little
Smith,
bit.
and then Gartner just lays him out. So the goalie thinks he's being cute here. It's Billy Smith, and Gartner just goes, "Fuck you."
The full two-handed slash back. We actually saw one of those in one of the playoff games this last week too. I think it was against McDavid even.
Oh, I don't know if I saw that.
I saw it. I'm pretty sure it was against McDavid. I mean, a full two-handed slash, no call. So yeah, there's some iffy things going on with some of the refereeing, but that one is kind of the opposite of the usual. Usually, if anybody touches the superstar, they're going to get penalized.
Exactly, yeah.
Regardless of whether it's playoffs or not. But yeah, we've seen a few where the superstar Pavelski or McDavid is just getting thrashed and little to nothing.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, there's been some surprising stuff. Normally, as you say, the superstars are like untouchable, but maybe not this year. Yeah, who knows?
Well, there's a lot more superstars than there used to be, it seems.
Hail, Lisa. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you, Lisa.
Thanks for joining us. I just wanted to, before we talk about our bracket and all that stuff,
yeah,
I just wanted to give a shout out to one of the junior teams that I've supported for a few years, the Kamloops Blazers, who made the Memorial Cup final they trounced Portland 10-4 in the last game. And they're just awaiting not the final, round 3, Seattle. They're playing Seattle in round 3, who are a pretty formidable team in the WHL too. Got a lot of draft picks, major league draft picks there. So, but they trounced Portland 4-0 in the series.
Nice.
And it's in the final will be in Kamloops, so they're hoping to absolutely make that final. They're just waiting to get started.
Boy, that right side of the bracket has a hell of a lot of sweeps going.
Oh god, yeah. Well, Kamloops are pretty strong team.
So this league reseeds after the first round.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. So, I'd also like to point out I got a Logan Stankoven, who's the Dallas Stars pick. Obviously, it plays for the Kamloops Blazers. He's the captain. I got a Logan Stankoven bobblehead, so Stank.
Nice.
Good lad.
And yes, I nuked the bot over on Rumble.
Well, you did get a bot, oh dear.
We've had 2 tonight. I don't know if they're bots or if they're just people trying to get attention for any unsolicited link in Rumble. I'm nuking.
Yeah,
it's what I do on comics and what I do here.
Yeah. No, thanks for doing that, mate. Yeah.
It just doesn't hide them over on Rumble yet. They need to let us hide comments that we would like to dismiss.
And over on the YouTube side, you and Mike DiCarlo are doing a great job as mods. I don't know if you've had to do anything yet.
I've had to uncover Snow Dub's statement, I think, and that was it.
The WHL Memorial, I mean, there's lots of playoffs going on in different leagues, but the WHL is still going. I don't think round 3 even starts till the end of this week, so it's kind of, they're trying to drag it out a bit, but
yeah.
Anyway, good luck, Logan Stankoven. He's going to set the NHL alight next year.
Yeah, I've got no team in that, so I'll pull for yours. Fine with me.
So, brackets, yeah. So we have brackets.
We do.
How do you think we're doing?
Well, there's nothing happening yet because that's the weird thing about hockey brackets is you have to have series end.
I know,
and everybody's at 2-1 right now. So
I know that in mine, I think I've made some strategic errors. I don't think I actually.
The Devils may be in trouble, and I think a lot of us chose the Devils there.
I chose the Devils in 6. I'm glad they did get a win, but it doesn't look like it now.
And we did forget on the chat bracket to get a number for the tiebreaker. I put in 45.
So let's have a look at the chat bracket then, I think. So what we had for the chat bracket was, I think they're probably going to be right in the top one. Avs, Seattle in 5.
I think so.
Dallas in 5. I don't think that is impossible. It's physically not possible.
You guys are definitely in trouble without Pavelski. I think that's a big blow unless they play for Pavelski at this point.
Was looking at.
I still think it would be fun for the channel if we got a Dallas, Colorado second round.
It would be the best, but I don't know if it's going to happen now. Not unless tomorrow the Stars players get their balls back from whatever lockbox.
I think they'll rebound. I think Dallas they're a more skilled team. It's going to be whether the refs keep Minnesota somewhat in check because they're playing like animals.
They are pretty bad. They're pretty bad. The other problem, though, is that Jason Robertson, who's so great in the regular season, like last playoffs, hasn't done anything yet. And we don't know what he's waiting on. He's invisible. So
I thought he'd gotten a couple goals, didn't he?
He got a couple of assists.
The first game, he was somewhat active.
He's done nothing in 5-on-5, though. So
okay.
Yeah. And some guys are just like that. Maybe he's one of those guys. Vegas, Winnipeg in 6. Yeah.
Andre, I didn't censor anybody. I said don't bring links into my channel. I don't need a whole bunch of people posting links to things outside, especially to frickin' YouTube.
It's not censorship when you're bringing in unknown links.
I'm not censoring anybody. I'm telling people not to sit there and post links in my channel during my live stream.
That's right.
That's not unreasonable.
Not unreasonable at all, yep. And certainly insulting people then after they've done it, after they've blocked something when they've told you they don't want you to do it, is not being a rat, which is a personal attack, or calling them nutless. That's just a personal attack that is not warranted anywhere. So, it's definitely going to result in us not being happy. So
I'm not going to censor you. You're not doing anything that is not allowed. I just don't like links in my channel.
Yep. So thank you for not posting links. But anyway, Vegas and Winnipeg. Vegas in 6. Well, could happen.
I think so.
Yeah. Now, Edmonton, LA, Edmonton in 7. That actually looks like it could be a reasonable prediction then.
Yeah, and I would still love to see Edmonton go out. I know we picked Edmonton, but I would love to see them go out early.
It would be funny.
Yeah.
I noticed that the Canadians polled, when polled, say majority of fans in Canada will back all 3 Canadian teams to end Stanley Cup drought. So I guess Mike might have a comment on that. But does that mean Leafs fans will back the Oilers or the Jets if the Leafs go out? Possible.
Maybe. I mean,
Yeah.
you're up in the Canada area.
I would say that that's probably true for most. Oh yeah, I can see the Will Ferrell. It was black and white squares. Sorry, I thought he was side by side. Most Canadians probably do want an end to that drought. Are they going to get it? I don't think they will get it. But
No,
no,
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think the Canadian teams. Edmonton has the best chance, of course, but Edmonton, they still are just a one-line team. I mean, they're a 2-player team.
Yeah. I think you're right. Yeah. So, on the other side, the east side, Tampa Bay, the chat picked Tampa Bay to beat Toronto in 5.
Yeah, which surprised me because I think me and you and the other people on stream last week said Toronto would finally break their curse, but I think the curse was too strong for chat.
That's right. I actually think the Leafs will make it, but it's never going to be. It's never going to be in 5.
No, that one's definitely looking like it's going 6-7.
Yeah, I think so.
Likely 7. That's a hard fought battle right now going on. And I've enjoyed the series so far. And it has been rough. Both teams have been beating the crap out of each other.
I have to say that they both showing a lot more grit than they're normally associated with.
Yeah.
So.
And Ryan O'Reilly has been a very good pickup for Toronto.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but yes. I hate to say that, but yes, he has. So yeah, I think that one's going to go to 7, but I still think the Leafs might edge it. I think this could be their year to go out in the second round, not the first round.
Yeah.
Carolina Islanders, Carolina in 6.
I still think Carolina has a very good chance of being in the finals. So
yeah, I could see that. And then Devils Rangers. Devils in 7 was the chat bracket. It could still happen. It could actually be a very accurate prediction. I had picked the Devils to do it in 6, I think, or something like that. And obviously they got off to a losing start, but they've picked one up now, so
yeah,
who knows?
We'll see if they can pick up the play.
Yeah.
The Rangers, I mean, they went deep last year.
Yeah, and they're that one. I just thought the Devils might have been the dark horse this year, but maybe not. So it's only 1 or 2 of those that are. I mean, nothing's that far out yet.
And all the series are very close. I mean, they're all 2-1 right now. A lot of teams have claimed back their home ice advantage. Yeah. Every team in the West lost home ice advantage in the first round.
They did. Yeah,
the crazy. First Tuesday night, every home team lost. And I was at one of the games, and it was miserable. Yeah. So it was a bad way to start the playoffs. It reminded me of 2019 when we saw like 3 of the 4 number 1 seeds go down. I think that was 2019.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
It was just like every number 1 or every upper seed dropped in the first game. We've seen everybody fight back now, it's been a fun week of hockey. But it started to look like 2019 on Tuesday nights. I'm sitting there, we're the last game of the night. I'm at the Avs game, and I'm watching everybody fall, and it's just like, crap. We know how these weird trends go when 3 home teams fall on a night. The 4th one is almost inevitable.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's actually, I mean, leaving aside the problems I had with the Pavelski thing, it's actually been a very interesting first 3 games for everybody, particularly, as you say, in the West, with all home teams losing the first game. That's hockey. It can go you think, oh yeah, this team's well above that team. Bang. I think once you're in the playoffs, anybody can win.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing that is, you got half the league in playoff hockey, but they're pretty separated from the lower half of the league this year, especially. So there's probably 12 to 14 teams, like I said earlier, that have a legitimate shot at winning the cup. The way it's going right now, there are a lot of much lower seeds that are showing that they're there to play. And I don't think the Kraken are. I don't think they have a chance of getting out of the first round. There's a few teams that just do not look like they're overmatched, but they're still putting up a fight, and that's what's fun about playoff hockey.
It is, and I like the everybody loves the uncertainty. As you say, you could get a 8th seed come in and beat the first. It's just, that's the great thing about it.
And that's what's lovely about a best of 7 instead of it being a best of 3 or a best of 5. It's not. One game doesn't mean anything. Here in Colorado, you should have heard everybody after that first game. I mean, they were dogging the team left and right. I mean, everybody's going into full meltdown. It's like, come on, people. It's one freaking game. It's a best of 7.
The first game, if you're going to have a shitty game, the first game is the game to do it.
Yeah.
First game. Don't do it in the 5th game. Do it in the first game. But we do like the uncertainty, and that is what makes it fun. I still think we're going to get a Colorado. I think it'll be Colorado-Boston final. Still feels like that's probably likely, but
I'm pretty sure that's what I ended up going with, although I really wanted to put Carolina in there as my preseason pick.
You'll be kicking yourself if it is Carolina.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, Andre. That guy gets nuked. He doesn't get to post here again. So that's what I mean by censoring. And I don't think it's censoring. It's just being respectful of somebody else's channel to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially since they can click your name and get to your channel. You could come in here and actually chat something, and somebody could click your name and go to your channel if they wanted to see what you wanted. But if you're just going to post links, that's what I don't like. So I got no problem with you.
Andre, it's not. It's just it's just the way we want it. We don't want those links. There's another link in there though. Redeema 22.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I just nuked that one, and he said, "I see what you mean regarding the links."
Yeah,
and that's what I was responding to.
Yeah, it's got nothing to do with censoring. It's a rule, not a rule. It's just what we want.
You can say basically anything you want over here outside of blatant racism. That's about the only thing I'm going to nuke for words.
Can't have that, yeah.
But links are going to get nuked.
Nope, so that's good. Glad you made that clear, mate. I'd just like to say hi to Darius Munchausen. Hey, brother, hope you're okay.
Hey, Darius.
Buddy. Yeah, good to see you. And thank you for subscribing on the YouTube site, Michael T. High Desert Comics, which I think makes me up to 9. I'm up to 994 now. Not going to
6 away.
Not going to make the 1,000 tonight, I don't think, but maybe on Monday when I have the next round of Canon Film Club with Touchwood. Razorfist is joining us again. Austin from Canon Books and Tom from Midnight's Edge. We're going to have a lot of fun on that. So
very cool.
Oh yeah, it'll be super cool. Razor's he's been on a few of those before, and he's a busy guy.
Well, he's got that campaign going that made over 100K on Friday on Nerd Products channel for FNT.
I know he's doing some great stuff. It's this is what we love about this, though. People are creating stuff. They're not just putting their money where their mouth is and their mouth where the money is. They're creating things. Razor's creating some fantastic stuff. I've certainly been very honoured to have him on my show a couple of times, and hopefully he's going to be there again on Monday. You can never predict with Razor, though.
Well, it's over 150K now, Smokey says. So on a $50,000 goal for a launch for Indiegogo, 150 is pretty good. Yeah, I think they way undershot that, but I'm glad they made the money.
Yeah, well,
it's
I'm
nice
at
to
the
see
top
people
level.
making new entertainment, and it's also nice to see some of the bigger names in our little corner of what we do, kind of jumping into the politics a little bit more too. I appreciate people that are jumping a little bit more into the politics from the entertainment side of things, because they intertwine.
Oh, for sure. But I also appreciate guys like Razor who support guys like me and have helped me out and do stuff. And it's
It's awesome that you get him on streams.
It's such a privilege for me, and Gary Nerdrotic's been on my stream once, and it's fun, and it's nice that these guys are busy. I appreciate that.
Oh, yeah.
And yet they make the time and effort to support guys like us, and I just love that.
Yep. Wish I was going out to Vegas next week.
Yeah, I'm not going, but I'm going to see you in Dallas, buddy.
Yep. Dallas, June 7th through 11th.
So looking forward to meeting so many people in person. I can actually go there now in this current era.
It's going to be great.
Going to be a lot of fun, and get to meet a lot of people like yourself. I mean, I feel like I know so many great people like you, and yet we've never met personally. So it's going to be great to finally do that.
And it's so much different to meet people in person. I mean, we do this a lot, and we all know each other, but we know each other through a camera. So, and we got another new name in the Rumble chat, Quarterman 250. Nice to see you. Thanks for coming in and checking us out. We're kind of wrapping it up at the moment, but
so he's mentioning your cigarettes. He's comparing you to cigarette smoking man from the X-Files, I think.
Yeah, I've got my vices, but yeah, over on the YouTube side of things, I'm known as the elegant smoker, so that's why the smoking jacket and everything.
Indeed, the elegant.
Typically, I'm wearing a button-up shirt with a tie and the smoking jacket, not my Avs jersey.
Yeah. So Andre's given us some interesting stuff.
He's up in Calgary.
Yeah, not far from me. Not far from me. I was there on Friday, in fact. Hell, I was there Thursday and Friday. Anyway, yeah, we're going to get wrapped up now soon, but thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight on Rumble and YouTube. We've had a lot of fun. Next week will be, how many games? 6 or 7 will be certainly first round games deep.
First round will be wrapping up, and we will have... I think we'll still have a full slate of games through most of the week, because I don't think these series are wrapping up as quick as we may have predicted they were. Everybody is putting up a fight.
Yeah, I think there's going to be quite a few Game 7s, which the NHL will probably love. And I guess we should love it too.
Out of the matchups, probably 4 Game 7s is what I would say at this point. After seeing the initial games, it looks like it's going to go long on a few of them. Could be completely wrong, but yeah.
Yeah, you're probably right, I think. So CC Karaoke's here. Good to see you, buddy.
Hey, CC.
Predicted a 4-3 Tampa win. Well, could be. Could be. And Darius is saying that...
it would still be funny if Toronto loses again. Sorry, Mike, but it would be hilarious if Toronto loses again in the first round. We all picked them except for the chat bracket, but
we would chuckle. We couldn't help but chuckle. We did pick them, so it's not like we're against them. It just it would be funny.
But it would be a hell of a lot funnier if they they do lose.
So Darius is right. Nobody but me, I think, would know what Darius looked like. So if he does go to meet up, I would be the only one who would actually physically recognize him.
Yeah.
It's just because of that enormous penis he has. I mean that. Sorry.
You would know about that.
Anyway, yeah. Thanks,
what do you got coming up?
What have I got coming up? I'm only going to talk about Monday, because I got so much shit going on. But Gotta share this damn screen. There we go. So Monday we're going to have. I've had so many great shows recently. It's been a lot of fun, but we're getting away from the rock and roll stuff that I've been doing recently for 1 week. And we're doing another Canon Film Club with, as I say, with Tom. Tom and Austin are definitely going to be there. Austin's the Canon Film Guide author. Razor, I have every reason to believe Razor's going to join us again, as he has in the past. Barring other commitments that may come up at the last moment. So we're doing the Missing in Action movies. So I have a lot of Chuck Norris memes lined up already. It's going to be a lot of fun. We always have a blast on these. So please, everybody, go to my channel and click on click to notify you of that stream, because we've had 2,000 or 3,000 people watching that one. It's been a lot of fun. Oh, so Razor was apparently saying Razor was talking about me.
Nice.
And I know Razor has been extremely, very, very kind to me and very helpful, and does chat to me behind the scenes. So
he respects his elders.
He respects his vast elders.
He considers it charity to help out a very old man.
We share similar taste in music, which always helps. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing Monday. I want other stuff happening next week too. But how about you, my good friend?
Yeah, next week I've got, tomorrow night I am on with Culture Casino for his late night Sunday show. And then Monday, back on Comics Division for the Big Yelling at Parked Cars show. And Thursday Night Throwdown, I think we are doing it. 2 of the guys will be in Vegas. Tox will be in, I think, Cancun or something like that. He's going on vacation with his wife, so good for him.
That's not Vegas.
So I think we're doing a show, and we may have the Legion of Memers leader, No Green Rocks, here in studio with me, and try to do a combined show. The Midweek Hump, Shagsworth channel, they are going to do a show on Thursday because Wednesday is the meetup. So we're probably going to do a Thursday Night Throwdown leading into Midweek Hump type thing, because Culture will be setting up a full studio. Actually, I think they're using Salty Nerd Podcasts, actual podcast studio, to do both shows.
Nice.
So Comics and Culture will be joining us from there, and then the Shagsworth people, they'll be coming in right after we're done. So it'll be 2 shows feeding into each other, and we have What Up Ian from Rumble will be on as the special guest for Thursday Night Throwdown. So we'll be asking him all the questions about Rumble that he can handle. I know he doesn't work for them, but he is one of the guys who has kind of integrated himself over here and learning how to do everything over here, and likes to give out tip videos on how to make Rumble work for you. So we're going to be having a lot of talk with him. So it'll be a fun night. And then we're back here Saturday. Second week of the playoffs will be down. We'll probably have a couple series that are wrapping up, and
I think so. Yeah,
we'll have a lot of hits and a lot of goals and a lot of everything else to talk about. So everybody, especially everybody who joined the bracket challenge, you're going to have to keep coming back and see where you stand in the brackets next week.
I think there'll be a few disappointed people, myself included, I believe. So
I don't think you guys are going to get beat in this round.
I
think we'll get our Dallas Avalanche matchup, but yeah.
God, that's going to be hilarious, especially for you. For you, it'll be hilarious. I'll be nervous.
Yeah, I'm going to have to decide: do we live stream the game, or do I use my season tickets and go to the games?
You can live stream from the game. It'd be noisy, but you could do it.
Andre just put a joke in Rumble. What's the difference between the Calgary Flames and a Wonder Bra? A Wonder Bra has 2 cups.
Oh, touche.
Nice.
I'll remember that next time I'm at a game in Calgary. So Darius is talking about being Simon Phoenix. Well, I'd like to say to you, Darius, that everybody has the right to be an asshole, or whatever it was that Simon Phoenix said.
But we are at the 2-hour mark, so I think we're going to call it a night, everybody. Thank you for coming out and supporting us on both Brian's YouTube and on my Rumble channel. The simulcast is fun, and it's been very successful so far. So I hope you hit your 1,000 on Monday. That'll be fantastic for you.
Thanks, buddy, and yeah, thanks for all your support. Appreciate it very much. Yeah, so have a great night, everybody. We'll see you all next Saturday, and hopefully see you before then in other places.
Yeah.
So take care and keep on rocking.
Cheers.
Play outro and end stream.